Ground ball. McClain, second. 12 in a row. The oldest team in professional baseball has its 5th ever winning streak of a dozen straight.
Our job every day is to try to kick somebody's ass. I mean, that's why we're here.
That is caught. Left center. Reds win.
And this ball is launched high and very deep to right, long gone. It's second of the night. Ellie De La Cruz.
Short lead for Pena. Larkin drills it. Do you believe this? It's going to be gone. Back to back. Walk-off home runs. How about this? He's back. He's back. He's back.
And a swing and a drive. Deep left field. This one belongs to the Reds. Swung on and hit deep to left field. That ball is going to be gone. Home run from the Reds for his time to score.
Goes to second one. Around the first. Got him. Double play. And the Reds sweep the Cubs. Breaking ball. Hit high. Hit deep. Way back there. And gone. Into the second deck and left. Christian Encarnacion Strand walks it off.
Archer does it in his major league debut. He gets the final 3 outs, and the Reds get an extra inning win. A thriller 5-4.
Swung on, fly ball, hit the deep right field. That ball is going to be gone. A grand slam home run by Mike Cameron.
2 outs, 2 on. Reds down by 1. Larkin down the line. It's a winning. It's a winning. Here comes Tucker. Here comes Steins. Larkin's won the game. Barry Larkin gets mobbed. Look at this scene. It's synergy.
The stretch, the pause and the pitch. And a line drive, base hit left center field. A single for Aaron Boone. And this one belongs to the Reds. The Reds have won 8 in a row.
Kobayashi with a long look turns it loose and Dunn hits it to deep right. It's all over. And this one belongs to the Reds. The Reds have won their 5th game in a row. They've defeated the Cleveland Indians on an Adam Dunn 3-run home run, 4-2. In on the corners at first and third. 2 on, nobody out. Here's Royce Ring pitching, no bunt. Ground ball by the third baseman into left field. Jeimer rounds third. This one belongs to the Reds.
That's hit pretty good. Guess what? He doesn't need speed. That's gone. He's the king of the Queen City tonight.
With 1 out here in the 11th inning, you sure got to go now. One out, pull down the left field line. That ball is going to get the winning run in. Here comes Jay Bruce rounding third, heading toward the plate. And this one belongs to the Reds.
Huge situation for Votto. Why you paying the big bucks to deliver the goods with 2 outs in the 9th inning? Can he do it? In the gap, right center field, and Votto delivers the goods.
Hit deep center field. Hank Hill going back at the warning track. Oh, it's gone. It's gone. Joey Votto is delivered.
Hello, Reds fans, and welcome into the Chatterbox Reds pregame show. My name is Mike, and today we are pregaming the Cincinnati Reds versus the New York Yankees on June 23rd, 2025. Like I said, my name is Mike, and I'm here with the only person in Reds country who's sad that Jeimer Candelario was DFA'd earlier today. Ricky Logan, how are you doing? How you holding up? We're not going to have Friday night candy anymore.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing. Keep the sugar intact. But, Friday night candy, man, it seemed like the only hits he had this season were when we were on the pregame show. So it's sad. Maybe we needed to be the pregame show every day just to get him going. But yeah, it's farewell.
Yeah, I'm only slightly joking. I think Ricky, you were just fine with the with the DFA. But
yeah, I'm fine.
like we mentioned, let's talk a little bit about the news that came on the wire here earlier today. Jeimer Candelario, first baseman, third baseman, was designated for assignment by the Cincinnati Reds, which ends his, well, I guess it doesn't necessarily end his career batting line with the Reds. We could bring him back in some capacity on a minor league deal, but we'll get to that. But in his 2 years with the Reds, in 2024, he batted .225, .279 on base percentage, .429 slugging percentage. That's what those 3 slashes are. With 20 home runs and an 87 WRC plus. Remember, 100 is average, so about 13% below average. And then unfortunately, it only got worse this year. And in the 22 games he played, he only had 2 home runs, batted 113, had a 198 on base, a 213 slugging, and an 8. That's right, an 8 WRC plus. That is 92% worse than average. So, unfortunately, I guess we didn't see this move coming probably today, but it felt like the writing was on the wall, especially with how he performed in AAA. I don't think a lot of people had a lot of confidence that he was going to come up to the big leagues and perform if he was batting under 200 in AAA. But Ricky, what are your initial thoughts on Candelario and what he was able to contribute to the Reds?
Well, he didn't contribute much. It's sad, we could probably talk about it in a little bit, but just, it's back-to-back contracts. We've had the DFA as like our major signing with him and Mike Moustakas. And he had 9 hits this season, and 2 of them were home runs. So he was terrible. I mean, that's all you can really say. And when Trace had that clip go viral earlier in the season with that at bat against Seattle, I think that summed up his career on this team.
Yeah, really, really was struggling to find it. And if his back was bothering him, I'm not even sure. He was on the IL for a long time just for back soreness. And he was starting to see, I guess, a little bit. He got a few hits in Louisville, but man, just really struggling. And there's been some comments that have come out recently with some interviews that we've done. Some of the beat writers have done with Tito and with Nick Kroll. And it seems like they were willing to bring him back up here, but there was going to be a shift in his job. He's basically going to replace Garrett Hampson's role, right? A bench bat that would maybe hit a little bit against left-handed pitching, that maybe a replacement, get a spot start here or there, but was going to be your bench bat, your potential power off the bench, switch hitting power off the bench. And I know it's hard to say, but 2 home runs is more than Garrett Hampson's hit in the past 3 years. So, yeah. But it seems like he wasn't happy about that. He didn't want that role. And so with the breakdown in communication with the front office and Candelario, they just said, all right, well, we'll DFA you. And unfortunately, that's not, that's where we land here. I think we all would have liked to see somebody like Candelario, who's kind of a veteran, be able to come into this clubhouse and still support this clubhouse, even with the reduced role. But it's hard to blame a guy that, wants, I'm sure Candelario still believes that he can be a good baseball player. Now, I think the fan base is out on it, and we'll see how that ever materializes. But I think in his mind, he thinks he could be good again, and he wants the opportunity to do that. And so the Reds are like, well, okay, well, you're going to have that opportunity somewhere else. So any final thoughts on kind of that response that he would have and how he would potentially fit in with this team?
I kind of understand it from his side a little bit, because he's been a pretty decent player over the past few years. In 2023 with Chicago, he had a 108 OPS plus. 2023, he was on Washington to begin the season, and he had a 126 OPS plus. And then overall in 23, he had a 121. 2022, his final season in Detroit, he had an 81 OPS plus, but he's been an above average hitter the majority of his career. So I don't know if just maybe trying to hit the ballpark out of too much with Great American Ballpark, with the, they call it Great American Small Park for a reason, and maybe he was just trying to swing for the fences, and that's never been his game. His career high in home runs is only 22, so it's not like he's always been like a crazy power hitter. It's just
kind of a doubles machine, right?
Yeah, he's a doubles guy, and he never hit any doubles for us, felt like. But I don't know. I think I'm ready to move on, just the way the Reds are.
Yeah. And one thing I kind of wanted to touch on is, what we hear this term DFA a lot, and I just kind of wanted to take a little bit of time explaining like what that specifically means for Candelario and the Reds. So when a player is DFA'd or designated for assignment, they're immediately removed from the 40-man roster. So he was on the 40-man roster, and he was on the IL, so somebody else kind of was able to have his spot. And when he was brought back, instead of being able to come up onto the 26-man roster, they just said, actually, we're going to DFA you, and he immediately gets removed from that roster. And then the Reds has 7 days to either trade, put him on waivers, or release him outright. So there's a couple things that you can do, and they kind of go in that specific order. A trade would be, like what we saw with Austin Wins, right? Somebody's willing to pitch in money, picks, players, whatever, to take on Candelario, and more importantly, also take on his salary. And then if nobody wants to bite at that, then we would put him on waivers. And what this is it would then go to each team ordered by their record. So worst would get first crack at him. So the Rockies, all the way down to whatever the best team in baseball, just ordered in that way. And each team will get to decide whether or not they would like to take Candelario onto their team. And more importantly, those first two include taking his salary that of the contract that the Reds have. And you can see why somebody may want to do a trade, right? If somebody says, hey, I would want this guy, but I think somebody who's got a worse record than me will take him first. I am willing to throw in cash considerations. I'm willing to throw in this prospect or whatever to get this player. Now, do I think that's going to happen to Candelario? No. Because the big thing that we talked about here is this remaining salary, right? He's got about $8 million remaining for this year. About half of his salary would be owed to him by whoever would claim him, and $13 million next year. So that's just a whole lot to be giving, even to take for free, which would be a waiver claim. And I don't really see any teams desperate enough for a guy with an 8 WRC plus to join their team right there. And so if he clears waivers, then the Reds can release him. I guess technically they can assign him back to AAA, but because he's a veteran, is over 5 years of service time, he can say no thank you and become a free agent. So then he would be free to sign with any team out there that's willing to give him a contract for any amount of money, league minimum at the, So that's kind of the process that goes into a designated for assignment. Where do you think you see Candelario shaking out in any of these options here, Ricky?
Yeah, I think I don't think anybody's going to claim him. If there was a situation where I think it could happen, it would be where like the Rockies weren't the worst team in baseball, and they knew maybe potentially the worst team in baseball would want to get him, and they trade for like, I don't know, a very minimum level prospect. But he's going to clear waivers. He's going to become a free agent, and he probably ends up on like the Rockies or the Angels or some low level team that maybe just needs a face, maybe a name, and maybe he does revitalize his career, and good for him if he does.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously was frustrated at how he played for my favorite team, right? I still wish him the best. I did some kind of evaluating of some of the team's rosters, and yeah, I think I'm right there with you. I think he's probably going to clear waivers and then probably not even sign initially because he's going to want a major league contract, and it's going to take an injury or something like that. Maybe like the Rockies or the Marlins or somebody like that has an injury, doesn't feel like bringing up or like one of their prospects or something like that starting service time, and they just say, hey, we'll pay you $1 million or prorated or whatever to finish out the year with us and eat at bats and stuff like that. So that's probably where I land with this. I think it's also kind of a cautionary tale, right? The Reds, this dude's 31, right? I think if you would have asked Reds fandom, I think we probably would have thought Candelario was older than that, because this drop off has been so steep, right? And I think so. This is just like a cautionary tale when it comes to giving out contracts for more than 1 year, but also like extending some of these people that are older, right? We talk about extend TJ Friedl. TJ Friedl's 29. And I think the highs with TJ Friedl are probably higher than what Candelario has done in his career. But like that cliff is potentially coming here too. And I would hate for us to continue to put ourselves in a position where we pay for past performance and then get this, right? We get this type of production because time comes for everyone. Yeah, Moustakas, like you said, is another great example. I think that there were some other things, just effort levels and stuff like that comes with Moustakas. But, we signed this dude and he just to have his worst years with the Reds. And I don't think that, especially with somebody that is, as limited budget wise as the Reds are, eating $13 million next year, I think is probably going to play into who they can and can't sign next year in free agency. And that stinks. So it's just, I think the front office needs to be more, more cautious about this and understand that cliff is going to come. And as much as we would love for 31 not to be the cliff, it is for some people. And we don't want to be stuck with the next Jeimer Candelario contract that really hampers us in the future as we're trying to be going for it next year, right?
Yeah, and also we got to be more aggressive on trades too. I mean, look at how the Alexis Diaz situation went. We probably could have traded him after the All-Star season in 23. I mean, I get it. We were in the middle of trying to be in the race. I think what we have like a game lead on the division at one point up until we faced the Brewers before the trade deadline, I believe. And then, maybe Friedel's a guy that you maybe think about that. There's still some team control available. And I don't know, maybe it's just, you hate to see him go. It's just, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And we need to be more aggressive on that end.
Yeah, we still do need to talk about this game. So we could spend another 15 minutes talking about the trade deadline.
It'd be a whole show.
I know, but so let's get back into this game and the lineup that we have here. Ricky, do you want to talk us through what we are expecting to see from the Reds tonight versus the Yankees? There is a game tonight.
There is a game
tonight.
The
York Yankees, yes.
We have TJ Friedl playing center field, leading off as his usual mainstay. Matt McLain running a 10-game hitting streak, batting second, playing second base. Ellie De La Cruz at shortstop, batting third. Batting fourth, Spencer Steer playing first. Gavin Lux in left. Tyler Stevenson has been pretty well playing a DH. I kind of like that move with the way Trevino's bat in the lineup too. And then, obviously Trevino following him up in the lineup. Jake Fraley in right field, and then CES at third base, batting ninth.
Yeah, thank you. It's interesting. So CES, I guess he's playing third, but it looks like he's kind of getting the nod over Will Benson, right? Because you could just put Gavin Lux at third and then Benson in left, and he could get him in this game. So I don't know if it's just a day off. CES didn't play. I don't think he started any of the games this weekend. I like to the point where I was like, is he nursing something? Did he tweak something? And they're just giving him some time off. I think maybe he just was, struggling so much and he's giving him a day here. So we'll see. I think we're getting close. We're getting close to fully formed, right? It's basically we get Austin Hayes and Noelvi Marte and we can fit those guys in here, man. I start feeling a lot better about this lineup. And but we're getting there. So the pitcher that we're facing, we faced him last year and touched him up pretty good. I'm sure we'll get to that with their lineup. But I do like to see Matt McLain staying up in the 2-hole. Let's hope that he can continue to move the success that he saw over the weekend. I think he's in a 10-game hitting streak. He said, let's get hot there. If we can have McLain and Ellie, getting hits at the top of the lineup, that would be amazing for setting the tone for all the people below. So, completely agree. And we got starting for us, Nick Lodolo. He's got a 5-5 record, a 3.71 ERA, so pretty good. And his last start with Minnesota, he went 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 4 strikeouts only. So, he's not been bad, right? He's just kind of been, kind of in the middle sometimes. I think he's had some good starts. 3.71 ERA is not bad, but I think a lot of people think of him as like, hey, we need to, we're expecting unhittable stuff out of him sometimes, and we haven't really seen that yet. Only 4 strikeouts. So we'll see how Nick Lodolo does, especially against the New York Yankees, a team that hits left-handed pitching pretty well. So what are your thoughts on Nick Lodolo and how he's been and what you expect from him tonight?
Yeah, I would like to see him just throw strikes. Hopefully he's not struggling to find the zone like he was a couple starts ago in Chicago, and he's because when he's not locating his fastball, me and Craig talked about it on the post game show. I think it was that Chicago game. When he's not locating his fastball, people aren't going to chase the breaking ball, and that's a similar situation to Alexis Diaz. And you want to see Lodolo, because Lodolo has the potential to be the number 2 on this team. And with Abbott being the way he's been, that's a solid 1, 2, and 3 in the rotation. And then with Burns tomorrow, I mean, the sky's the limit for this rotation. And you want to see him throw strikes. And the strikeouts will come. It's just he's gotta limit the walks.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think his command is going to need to be on point tonight. It's going to be a hot, humid day in Cincinnati, so I will get to the weather, but I can imagine it's been in the 90s up here in Columbus all day. I would imagine it's going to be a scorcher down there. But he's really going to need his command because he's facing a always dangerous New York Yankees lineup. We have Paul Goldschmidt, old friend from the Cardinals, playing first and leading off. And we have some interesting stats about Paul Goldschmidt against Lodolo. And spoiler, they're not good. Not good for Lodolo. Cody Bellinger batting second, playing center field. Aaron Judge playing right, batting third. Giancarlo Stanton back from the double tennis elbow, batting fourth and DHing. Jazz Chisholm playing third and batting fifth. Anthony Volpe playing short and batting sixth. Austin Wells, the Trevino replacement, is catching. DJ LeMahieu playing second base, and Jason Dominguez, the Martian, batting ninth and playing left field. So do you have some stats? I know I don't think Lodolo has officially faced the Yankees, but there's some players in this lineup that have faced Lodolo in the past.
So there's only 3 active Yankees that have faced Lodolo, and it's either really high or really low. Cody Bellinger is 4 for 9 with an RBI and a strikeout. Jazz Chisholm is 0 for 1, but he's got 2 walks. And then Paul Goldschmidt, like you said, he is 4 for 8 with 2 home runs, 3 RBIs. So hopefully we don't get ambushed. But
if I were a betting man, I think I would probably put a bet on Paul Goldschmidt leadoff home run. I obviously don't want that, but this looks like the Byron Buxton thing all over again, right? A left-handed hitting, crushing power hitter who jumps on first batter of the game and hits one out. So, I actually have some additional stats on the Yankees specifically. So the Yankees as a team against left-handed pitching have a 126 WRC plus. That's second in the league. Remember 100 is average, and I think the Reds are like at 85 or something. So they are very good against left-handed pitching. And here are some of the numbers. Aaron Judge having an all-world season, 259 WRC plus versus left-handed pitching. Paul Goldschmidt, 247 WRC plus. Remember, average is 100. Average is 100. That means 150% better than average for Aaron Judge and Paul Goldschmidt. So that doesn't look great. Bellinger, left on left, 146 WRC plus. Anthony Volpe, 134 WRC plus. Austin Wells, also left on left, 130 WRC plus. Chips aren't stacked very well against Lodolo tonight. So, man, when I mentioned he needed to have his pinpoint command, he does. Because if you make a mistake, this team is not only going to crush your mistakes, they're going to put them out of the ballpark. So, let's hope that we can get that for Lodolo tonight, because that is, that's kind of scary to look at, to be honest. I'm glad that Abbott went yesterday and is not pitching against these guys.
Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about Allan Winans, their starting pitcher. He's getting called up for his first start of the major league season. He spent his time in Scranton Wilkes-Barre, the AAA team for the Yankees, and he's getting his first start of the year. And his stats down there, 7-0 with a .9 ERA. So he's been good in AAA. And I know AAA is a little bit different, right? Obviously, the offense is not as good. And there's also the automated balls and strikes, which I think it's easier to a more consistent zone is always helpful, I think, for pitchers. And his last start was against Louisville. Do you have some stats on that? Did you look up that box score there, Ricky?
I can get it real quick if you want to stall for me.
Yeah. His last start was against Louisville this past week, I think on the 17th, and Rhys Hines actually faced him. So Rhys Hines, I think, went 1 for 3 with a single. Rhys Hines obviously not in this lineup, and Candelario also faced him, and I think had a run scoring double. I thought maybe he's in this lineup tonight, but obviously he's not after what we talked about earlier. But we'll see. Did I stall enough for you there?
I'm almost there.
All right.
Let's see.
I think I have it too. If you need it.
Yeah, if you want to go for it, go for it.
All right. Yeah. Here we go. He had 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. So I know I think his fastball tops out at 91 miles an hour, which is not a great sign for the Reds, it feels like, right?
Yeah.
Andre Palante mowing us down in St. Louis. He throws 4 pitches, curveball, 4-seam, sinker, changeup, slider, and they're all not very fast. Let's hope that the Reds can do pretty well against him. They faced him last year. How'd they do?
Well, he pitched in 2 games last year in 2024, and he had a 15.26 ERA. And when the Reds faced him, we took him 2 2/3. He didn't get out of the 3rd inning, and it was good on our end. Ellie had a home run. Jake Fraley had a home run, and active Reds. Tyler Stevenson's 0 for 2. Jake Fraley's 1 for 2 with the home run. Ellie's 2 for 2 with the home run and a triple. Spencer Steer's 2 for 2 with a double and a triple. Will Benson's 0 for 1 with a strikeout, and Rhys Hines is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. So things are looking good. We are 5 for 8 on 10 total plate appearances against him.
Yeah, obviously this is a new year, and he's in a new organization, and I think that's the biggest thing for me. Whenever somebody goes to a new organization, especially one that's kind of known for developing pitching, which the Yankees are, see Luke Weaver, right? We'll get to the bullpen here, but Luke Weaver got DFA'd by the Reds and the Mariners. When we didn't even have good pitching, he gets picked up by the Yankees, and last year is closing games in the World Series for them. So the Yankees are pretty good at, I would say they have a pretty good track record at getting the most out of pitchers, maybe changing their arsenal or how they throw things in order to get better. So this is not Braves Allan Winans, right? This is the Yankees one. I would not expect the Reds to get 7 earned runs off of him. However, I think that, having seen him in Louisville, and more importantly, obviously none of those, only Rhys Hines was the guy who saw him, but you now have a kind of like a scouting report, right? You've recently seen how he's throwing and what his spin rates are and how they're going about attacking things. And I think that's got to help a little bit. So I just really don't want the Reds to fall into, especially because I think this matchup with Lodolo is not very good, where it's just like we look up in the 5th inning and the Reds have 1 hit. Like, I really don't want that. I hope that I really hope that we can establish some offense early off this guy and get to their bullpen.
Hey, Mike, you hear something? I hear that we need more likes in this stream. We've got almost 200 people live on YouTube right now. We need more likes.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Scientifically proven that we win games when we have likes. So like the stream, guys. We really appreciate your guys' support. And this is kind kind of a different day for us. It's kind of a big news with Jeimer Candelario with the DFA. And, I'm assuming that's why a lot of you guys are tuned into this one. And we really appreciate it. If you guys like what we do this every weekday night game. It's Mike and I, Alex, Max, Hunter, all the guys. We just like talking baseball with you guys, and we really enjoy you guys spending your time with us.
Yeah, well, I completely agree. I really appreciate everyone that's kind of tuned in to chat with us before this game. Do we want to talk a little bit about the bullpen? It looks like Rogers has pitched 3 of the last 4 days, but after the stats that I just read about the Yankees versus left-handed pitching, I would imagine he's probably not getting in this game anyway. And Pagan has pitched 2 games in a row. So I'm not saying Pagan is completely down for this game, but I wouldn't be surprised if it gets to closing time and they use Santillan instead. Santillan obviously got the day off yesterday. He's struggled recently. But Richardson only pitched 6 pitches yesterday, but he's been 2 days in a row. We'll see. We got to remember we brought up Yasser Zuvaleta, I believe is how you say his last name. And Connor Phillips is still in the bullpen there.
Yeah.
I don't love plugging them in against this lineup, but I think we're probably going to, depending on where this is, we're probably going to see some version of that today. Hopefully Lodolo goes 7 shutty or something like that, and we don't have to worry about that part. But I think some young guys might get thrown into a tough spot here, and we'll see how they respond. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, with Santillan kind of struggling here recently, it was really nice to see Leon Richardson on Saturday, kind of sandwiched in between 2 bad outings between Ian Jabot and Tony Santillan. And he really held his own 2 innings. I think he had 1 hit and he was scoreless. So, I mean, he's been I'll say it every time we're on, he's been a pleasant surprise with how he's been in the bullpen this season. And Connor Phillips, he threw 21 pitches on what was it? Friday. He threw 21 pitches on Friday. And he didn't pitch the last 2 games. So he could be a guy that could be available. And he's done pretty well. I mean, since he's been moved to the bullpen in Louisville, he's done pretty decent, admirable. I mean, because he really struggled as a starter. And I think we talked about it when he was promoted Friday that, he had a decent start in 2023, but then he had that meltdown on his final start of the season. And that kind of put our season to bed. But I like the Connor Phillips move to the bullpen, and I think him and Richardson probably could see time today.
Yeah, throws up to over 100. So we'll see. It's going to be a tough spot for him if we see him. I'm just like dreading seeing like Connor Phillips versus Aaron Judge, and Aaron Judge knocking one off the scoreboard in left field.
Oh, man.
But let's hope that doesn't happen. On the Yankees side, they pitched their A bullpen of old friend Fernando Cruz and old friend Luke Weaver. So and then Devin Williams also pitched yesterday. So that is, they're probably still available, but I think it will be interesting too to be able to see how Fernando Cruz it plays into this series. Obviously, he's got that incredible splitter, but we've also seen many outings where if that ain't there, he becomes very, very hittable. So, and then Luke Weaver, obviously, actually, it looks like Luke Weaver didn't pitch yesterday. Tim Hill pitched yesterday, but Weaver is still coming back off the IL, and so we'll see. We'll see if we see some old Reds there, and we'll see see if we can get some revenge against them. Obviously, it looks like the Cruz-Trevino trade has kind of worked out for both teams with how much Trevino has contributed. But we'll see as we get in the bullpen. I don't love coming in, needing 1 run and seeing Fernando Cruz out there because we all know how nasty he can be.
Yeah, you talked about it a little bit with the starter, how a change of scenery can be good for the player and for the new team as well. Luke Weaver is like the prime example of that. He was like there was so many games where like he would throw 9 runs and we would score 10 and somehow we pull it out. And it was like the Luke Weaver magic of every Luke Weaver start. I believe there was a stat, I think ESPN had it. It was like 9 straight games. He had an ERA over 6.5 or a 7. It was a extremely high ERA, but the Reds scored like 9 or 10 runs per game.
Yeah.
And
they were like 5-0.
Yeah, and they were 5-0.
Yeah.
Like, there was the game against Baltimore where it's like he started out pretty well and then he blew up and then somehow we scored like 11 runs. But he goes from that to close out games for the Yankees in the World Series. Like that. Yeah. That's a testament to him not giving up, and that's just a testament to you never know what a guy is until maybe he figures it out.
Yeah, for sure. I think Devin Williams was probably their closer now. I know he was their closer when Weaver was on the IL. I don't think Weaver has necessarily gotten the job back, but I bet we've seen Devin Williams a lot too when he played for Milwaukee. So those are all people that we're pretty familiar with that we may see in some high leverage situations. So hopefully that plays out well for the Reds. We're going to skip the weather because we're running long. It's going to be hot. Yeah, there you go. But let's move to the NL Central rundown. Where are we looking with the standings there?
Yeah, the Cubs are 46-31 in first place. The Brewers are 43-35. The Cardinals are 42-35. We are 40-38, and the Pirates are 31-48. So we need to make up some ground. I don't know if this is the most important series of the week. I think we can kind of look forward and say the San Diego series is going to be very important as far as the wild card is concerned, but you still don't want to look past these teams. And, we have a way of, oddly enough, maybe just kind of playing up to our opponents as well. So maybe we can work that magic again this series.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's important too, and just like establishing that we can play with the big boys. This is a playoff team that has almost all their horses there. And if we can take a series from the Yankees, like that's a good sign for this team. I think we swept them in 2024, which is great. Snuck up on them or something like that in Yankee Stadium. So I don't need a sweep. I would be thrilled if we get out of here with winning 2 out of 3. So that's where I stand here, especially with how everything seems to be stacked against us in this game. So let's get to our what to watch for. We've been going long. We need to let you all get out to your game or to get settled in to watch the game. What's your what to watch for, Ricky, as we move into this game?
My what to watch for is on the Yankees side with Cody Bellinger. He has been a Reds killer his entire career, and it doesn't matter who's pitching. For his career, he is batting .330, 35 hits, 9 home runs, 24 RBIs, and scored 21 runs in 25 games. And I believe his batting average in Great American Ballpark is equally as high, maybe higher. And he was a guy that, I kind of wish we could have went out and spent some money on, but there wasn't really a fit, I guess, and obviously money. But yeah, he's just been a Reds killer and a killer in Great American Ballpark as well.
Yeah. So we've already talked about Goldschmidt. Now we have Bellinger, and then there's Aaron Judge, right? Who is almost batting .400 and leading almost, I think, is second in the league in home runs. So it's like there ain't much room to breathe. There's a lot of big boppers, and my what to watch for is actually about that too. I brought some stats, so let's see if we can get there. We go. So Aaron Judge this year has actually been getting the Barry Bonds treatment. He's at 17 intentional walks. I guess maybe not at the same level as Barry Bonds, but he's had 17 intentional walks so far this year, almost double than the number 2 guy. Ohtani's had 9, so he's getting intentionally walked. But this is per the Yes Network. In the plate appearances after Judge has been intentionally walked, so there's 17 plate appearances. The Yankees are 5 for 14 slashing .357, .437, and .642 with a double, home run, and 6 RBI. So I get not having this dude beat you, right? He's the best. but it looks like even when you intentionally walk this guy, their team is still very good at making you pay for that.
So you're saying let him beat us and get the guy out behind him?
No. What I'm saying is just don't intentionally walk him.
Yeah.
He comes up, 2 outs, nobody on. Maybe don't intentionally walk him, but don't throw him any strikes. Let him either get himself out or live to fight another day. That's my advice. We'll see if he does get any intentional walks. I can imagine that. I know I saw one where they were in extra innings and he was up and they're just like, yep, you get first base. Like, we're not letting you end this game here. So, hopefully, we don't have to deal with this specific thing. But it's just like, this caught my eye. It's just like, man, this team is just so deep offensively that even when you walk an all-world hitter, you're still getting 357 batting behind them with, 6 RBI. So let's hope that we don't have to deal with that. I know that's kind of a downer for my what to watch for, but let's see if Tito decides to intentionally walk him at all. So we have now come to the crystal ball portion of the program. I've seen WTI Trader has already posted his. Unfortunately, he says Yankees 11, Reds 4. Hope I'm wrong. I hope you're wrong too, WTI Trader. But everyone here, first come like the string. We appreciate everybody joining us and talking about the transactions in today's game against the Yankees. But give us a prediction as well. Ricky, what is your prediction?
I think Lodolo is going to have it tonight. I think we're going to see a quality start from him, and I think we are going to score 7 off of Winans or however you say his name, and it's going to be another short outing for him. I think he's not a big league pitcher in my eyes, and I think we're going to show him that he's not. And we're going to score 7, and we're going to hold the Yankees to 2. We're going to be 7-2 Reds.
Man, I like that. 7-2. Wow, 2 runs for this lineup. That would be excellent. The Yankees are 3-7 in their last 10. So as much as we, have seen them absolutely bludgeon teams, they're not playing their best baseball right now. They did take 2 out of 3 from Baltimore coming in here, but maybe we are catching them at a okay time here. We got Dunny17 says Reds 11. Yankees 10, throwback to Ellie's cycle. I hope that also means Ellie hits a cycle because that'd be sweet. But with yes,
the walk-off home run.
Yeah, you are right. This is the 2-year anniversary for Ellie's cycle game. I think just 2 weeks up in the majors. So that would be electric. I mean, 11-10 would have my heart rate through the roof for the majority of this. But boy, that's tough. We have Reds 4. Yankees 2 from Molly. She listened to all of our stuff about how these pitchers are going to get lit up and was like, nope, actually not. 4-2 Reds win. So I would love that. Molly, I'd take any Reds win here. We got Might I Suggest a Game. That's actually Alex. I know that guy. He's my brother. He says Reds win 7-4. I love that. Shout out Alex. But my brother-in-law also has chimed in, Cam, who is a Yankees fan. I'm glad you guys are all watching. Make sure you like the stream. Thanks for supporting your brother here. But he is a Yankees fan. He says the hopes the Yanks win 11-4. I say boo to that. No, thank you. Optimistic John says 5-4 Reds. Living up to your name. I appreciate that. We have Lance George, Reds 14, Yankees 6.
Let's
Heck,
go.
I love that, man. Hitting them around the yard. Reds 24, Yankees 1, final in 12. Okay, so it's 1-1 going into the 12th inning, and we scored 23 runs on Fernando Cruz and Luke Weaver. If this happens, what are the odds on this? The odds have got to be 1 million to 1 here. But I love that. I love that you guys are being, really showing some good. Some fun here. We got Molly 11-10. Didn't you already vote, Molly? I thought you don't get 2 of these here. We have Austin Wins Fan Club 5-4 Reds in 11. That's a walk-off. Then you get to see Nick and Craig go crazy in the post-game show. We got 13-5 Yankees. Sorry, Sean, don't love that. Caleb Kelly, we have 6-4 Reds. And I have filibustered enough. And I think it's my turn to make a prediction. I think that Lodolo gets through 5 innings, but gives up 4 earned runs. And the Reds offense comes and saves him. And the bullpen maybe even gives up another one, but the Reds win 8-5. They get some good offense from Ellie. McLean stays hot. CES maybe pops a homer and gets back on track, and they win 8-5.
I like it. I like that a lot.
All right. Once again, we have gone way over our time. Brad Duncan, 3-2 Reds. Join the party. It's fun. We love to see when Reds win. But hopefully we can see Reds win. Like I mentioned earlier, it's going to be Nick and Craig tonight in the post-game show. Please turn in and say hi to them, hopefully after a Reds win. I think that's about all I have. Ricky, do you have anything else before we let all these people watching? We're thankful. Make sure you like the stream, subscribe, do all that stuff. Anything else that you'd like to add before we get into this game?
Let's just get a big go Reds going.
Go Reds, and make sure to tune in for Chase Burns too. Ooh. We didn't even talk about. We ran out of time to talk about him, but boy,
join tomorrow for the pregame show for that.
We are all excited about that. Get down to the ballpark if you can. Drown out those Yankees fans there, so we can see him twirl a gem against this Yankees lineup. So,
yes,
for everyone here, thank you, Ricky. Thank you, chat. Thank you for everybody that tuned in. I will finish this off with one more. Go Reds.